All right. So this is Godfather of Harlem, season one, episode 9. That's right. I know it's right. If it's not, it'll be in the description, but I'm 100% sure it's right. 100% sure. Can't be more sure than that. Probably 101%. Whatever. I'm getting sidetracked. Um, so all the pieces fall into place. This is becoming. This is a great conclusion. I feel like to a season, or at least running up to one. All the chances or risks that Bumpy has taken in this season are coming to a head or spilling over, how whatever you want to call it. It's not looking good for him in this moment, but I have faith that somehow the main character come out of this one. Not necessarily squeaky clean, but he will make it out. Um, there's a lot going on. So we've got the lovebirds to consider. I'm probably going to talk about them first. We've got the lovebirds to consider. We've got uh, Malcolm verse. I call it that. Malcolm verse of whatever's going on with this Malcolm X character. We've got the Italians, and we've got Bumpy himself. The rest of the stuff is tied into Bumpy. I think I hate doing it like this because now I forget which one I was supposed to do. But I'll talk about the lovebirds first. That particular story is turning into nothing more than a Romeo and Juliet type situation. I mean, so it's weird. When they first started out, it seemed like the two characters were pretty happy to be together. You know, they're young, they're in love. It's nothing else matters in the world but each other. That type of stuff. That get that vibe from it. And then they started to allow other people's perceptions and thoughts sway their opinion on their own relationship, which is funny how that works because you're gonna take you're gonna hold a lot of you're gonna take into consideration somebody else's opinion uh, if you have a lot of trust in that person, somebody, especially like a mother or father or older somebody that you grew up with, or somebody who's helped you through a lot of hard times. I feel like, but at any rate, so they're chugging along pretty good for the majority of this season, and then at some point, the girl basically gets fed up and she decides to break it off, and that was literally the beginning of the end. And they decided to uh, uh, they decided to have that happen, the breakup, the same time that he finds success. So it's easier for him to separate from her. But he's also been hurt by her, and she's been hurt by him, and she winds up trying to commit suicide. I'm like, I didn't see that coming. I didn't even see how that's a thing, but it is. So it's got to deal with that. I know I shouldn't be giggling because it's meant to be a serious show, but that's just funny. Where did she get the idea to commit suicide in this situation? It doesn't really make any sense. Um, and it's only two boyfriends, air quotes, that her father is basically have killed or tried to kill, and that plays into the overall story as well. The first guy who was messing around with her, and I use that word lightly, he winds up getting popped, but he's the son of another mob boss and can't kill a guy, mob boss son, and blah blah blah, and that's playing to what's going on now because Bumpy can't get, they call it doogie, but it's dog food or heroin. He can't get that product from Gigante because they're at war, and he doesn't want him in there anymore because he get more profits. But now he's getting behind his back from this other mob boss. But this other mob boss that's the son, well, that's the father of the guy who got killed. But the other mob boss killed. It starts getting confusing and more confusing. I guess I made it confusing, right? Yeah, I definitely made it confusing. But anyhow, God, I lost my train of thought. I really need to do some brain exercises or something. I'm losing it. Um, Let me try and simplify it. So, there's two mob bosses and Bumpy. There's three individuals you got to worry about right now. One mob boss has a son. The other mob boss has a daughter. One mob boss kills the son of the other mob boss. Uh, And what's going on in this series is, so far in this season, I should say, uh, Bumpy's uncovered the truth that one mob boss killed the other mob boss son, but that mob boss has now flipped it to make it seem like Bumpy has killed him. So you know how that's gonna play out. Not good for Bumpy. Um, I just want to see what's gonna happen. That's all. I really want to see what's gonna happen. Uh, what else happens in this episode? I talked about the Lovebirds. I talked about Bumpy. God, I had two more things to talk about. Oh, the Malcolm verse. I hope there's something else I wanted to talk about. See, that's why I don't do it, because I can't remember it. That quick, I lost it. That's. I don't think that's good. Is it good? That's not good. Um, so you have pretty much the same situation that's happening between the Lovebirds that's happening with Malcolm. It's like envy and I guess it what similar, not necessarily the same, but in the situation of this Malcolm X character, there is some envy going around and jealousy and things of that amongst people in his own inside his own organization. All right, so we got the leader, the overall leader of the whole Muslim or nation, wanting to have a saboteur, if you will, or somebody in the organization to keep an eye over Malcolm and report back to him. And that just won't make it too more complicated, but that individual, I guess, is uh, conflicted with this order to do that. Um, all the while, Malcolm is using the Brotherhood in order to, is it the Brotherhood or the Nation? The Nation's better. It's all the while Malcolm is using the Nation in order to just smooth and help out in the community, but the leader doesn't really want that type of publicity, which is understandable. You don't want to be, you're already under the radar. You don't want to like add insult to injury, I guess, in this instance. So Malcolm has that conflict going on, and also he's dealing with the fact that people are trying to basically push him off this pedestal that he's reached. Not to say pedestal, push him off the top of the mountain that he's climbed. Took so hard. That's been so hard for him to climb up. Slow my words down. There we go. So you got that going on. God, I wish I could remember what else I was going to say about this episode. So I talked about the Lovebirds. I talked about Bumpy. I talked about Malcolm first. Was there one more thing I had to talk about? The Congressman? But the Congressman was tied into Bumpy, I feel like. Wow, I'm really having a brain fart here. I just said it like 2 minutes ago. Can't believe that. Let's see here. I don't know. I guess I could talk about the Congressman. I mean, he's pushing hard for something, but his motive's not resonant. His motive isn't out in the open necessarily. I don't know what his motive is in the situation, because usually early on in the season, it seems like he would do something in order to get an audience with certain people, and then it would come out what he really wants. But this time, he just wanted to stir some stuff up, stir some shit up. It looks like, which he's achieved that. He's achieved that goal, and then some. This is what makes a good series, because now I'm on the edge of my seat, on the tip of my toes, and gripping the arms of the chair or whatever the case may be, waiting to see what's going to happen. There's one more episode in this season, and I'm strongly contemplating, trying to use big words. I'm strongly considering watching this episode. I think I will. If you like me getting lost in my own head and forgetting what I said 2 minutes ago, check out some of my other videos. They're a little bit better. I've got Breaking Bad, Mandalorian, which I don't like. I've got Chernobyl. I've got The Wire. I've got Futurama. A lot of TV shows. And also I have movies. So go check those videos out and subscribe.